everybody, we are going to check some alfalfa. Guys got a couple fields to do tonight, pretty close to each other, so it's what, almost 9 o'clock. Sun's just setting, or has set it pretty much. You can still see light out a little bit, so I'm going to a field that we do that is notorious for being ready early. I don't know what it is, if it's just the ground or where it's at. There's a bunch of canals around it, so there's probably a little more moisture in the air. So I'm gonna run over there and check it, and the guys are coming in at 9 o'clock, and we're going to figure out where we're gonna start. So, but yeah, we've been baling hay, baling grass, did some straw. I got some footage of that, so I'll put that in this video. And been in the shop finishing up the almond harvesters. I built some ramps for a trailer, and then I just picked up the tanks today for a new service trailer we're going to build for the shakers. So got to get that done, because almond harvest will be here before we know it. It's probably going to be here a couple weeks earlier than normal. Where we're at, you know, we're in the central San Joaquin Valley in the western Fresno County area, and on the far west side it's federal water, and I don't know, we're in a drought. I'd call it a man-made drought, just kind of mismanagement of our water systems, and there hasn't been anything done to increase our storage capacity in a long time. And you know, it hasn't been rain this last winter, so guys on the west side, they're at a 0% water allocation from their water district, so they've been buying water on the open market. So basically, you know, if they have water, if they have any carryover from last year, they can use that. Or like I said, they're buying water from, say, other growers. Like if a guy has, you know, 2 feet of water, you know, a farmer could buy that and then transfer it into his water system and irrigate his crops that way, which is, you know, a way to survive. But, you know, water costs are upwards from $1,000 to $2,500 for 1 foot of water. So do the math, that's expensive. You know, almonds, they say take, you know, 3 feet to get to a crop, and there's just not enough to go around, and guys are scrounging. They're, you know, irrigating differently to use what they have and make it last. But I don't know, it's going to be pretty bad. Of course, too, some guys have wells, but you know, around here, or at least on the west side, the water quality isn't there, you know, to keep the almonds healthy. It's high in salts, and you can only give an almond tree so much of that. It's kind of like giving an almond tree chemotherapy, put it that way. Like, it's keeping the tree alive, but it's hurting it at the same time. So might not see the effects now, but come next season, you know, you'll have salt buildup in the soil, and you know, then it'll show up. Because even right now, you know, as the almonds are developing, getting there for this year's harvest, your trees are also pushing buds for next year. So you're working on both crops. And some guys have enough water to get to the point of harvest, but it's really important that the trees get water after harvest, after they're shook and the nuts are off, because that's a, you know, a really high stress time for the trees. So I don't know, it's tough out here. I call it the Wild West. It's not for the faint of heart to farm out here. You know, when you got to buy water from $1,000 a foot to $2,500 a foot, it's not for the faint of heart. And you know, almond prices aren't what they were a couple years ago, so unfortunately there's a lot of guys in our area hurting. But you know, then you say you travel from the west side and you travel 10 miles east, you get into what we call the exchange contractors, you know, or it's a different water district. It's a different system, and those guys, you know, they have #1 water rights, and they are short of water, but they're gonna make it. They're gonna be okay. But if we don't get rain this winter, it's gonna be really bad. So fingers crossed, hope and pray, do rain dances, whatever you gotta do, because it's really sad to see this fallowed farmland and trees, you know, sick and not doing good, because, you know, we're in central California, San Joaquin Valley, this is the best farm ground in the world. We feed the world here. This is what we do. And without water, it's nothing. And it's not like the farmers are asking for free water. You know, we're paying for it. They've paid for the system that's, you know, in the state to deliver them water. You know, that was kind of the promise made years ago, you know, that, you know, hey, we need money to build this water system so we can get you water delivered. Well, where's the water? You know, and there's a big fight between environmental groups and farmers, and then it even gets so bad to where farmers are kind of pitted against themselves. You know, you got the guys on the east side, you know, and what we call the exchange contractors, you know, are the good water districts, and you got the guys on the west side who are federal water, who are short of water, and you know, they're yelling and screaming at each other. It's not fair. They're getting water, we're not. And you know, I think what we really need to do is everybody, whatever area you're in, wherever you farm, come together, you know, and fight for the water. You know, we're all a team. We're all doing the same thing. You know, we're all in this together, because what I have always said, that out there on the west side, they always have had the water problems, and sometimes the guys over here on the east side, they weren't marching and protesting with us when, you know, in 2009 they did a big water march, and then, you know, marched from Fireball up over that way in the foothills over there up to one of the reservoirs, and to protest for water. And it was kind of sad to see, you know, some of the guys on the east side, they just were like, oh, they're never going to touch us, you know, we got #1 water rights, which they do. That's great, but it's starting to affect them now, and you're starting to see everyone coming together, you know, to figure this problem out, find a solution, do something. You know, it's like I said, it's, my family's gone through it when we farmed, and it's tough on a person. It makes it hard to want to continue doing this, which I think is a big reason you've seen, you know, in our area, the decline in the family farm. You know, and what I mean by that is when it's time for the next generation to take over, they've seen what grandpa and dad have gone through, and they don't want to do it, so their solution is sell the ranch, and then the ranch is sold to a big, you know, corporate investment type company. And it's just sad to see, but there's a lot of guys still hanging on. I mean, I don't think the family farm's going away anytime soon out here, but yeah, we just all need to come together and, you know, realize we're doing the same thing, we're for the same cause, and just get something figured out. But anyway, I've been ranting and feeling the hay. This hay's ready to go, so I'm gonna get on the phone and call the guys and tell them to get their ass over here. So balers are parked, I don't know, maybe a mile over there. They got this field to do, and then another field about a mile south of here, so should be easy to get done tonight. But look at that beautiful sunset. It's kind of going away now, but you can still see it. The Wild West, that's what I call it, the Wild West side.
Hello?
Hey, Baldo.
Yes.
McCurdy's is ready. The alfalfa's ready over here at McCurdy's.
You ready?
Yeah.
I already got my twine and everything. I already do everything.
Okay.
I waited for this.
Yeah, you wanna check his twine for him?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call this and check your twine and everything.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, hey, if you come over here and start on I think you and Alfonso start in the same place all the time. The side by the canal.
Okay.
On the
block in the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and it feels
Alright.
pretty good over here. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
That's a good dude right there, a Baldo. You guys will get to see him during almond harvest on the shuttle truck, and if anybody who works for me is watching, they know what I'm talking about. He puts on a show, that's for sure, because when you run a shuttle truck, it's just haul ass all the time, and that's what Baldo does. He hauls ass all the time. So yeah, he's running baler tonight, and then another guy, Luis, that works for me, he's running. He's doesn't normally run baler. He's a swather driver, shaker driver. Well, he can drive anything, but this time of year he's on a swather most of the time. But Alfonso, my one of my other baler guys, he takes off 2 weeks this time of year to go to Mexico and see his wife and his kid down there, and then he kind of gets, you know, rested up, and then he comes back, and then he finishes the season now. So anyway, yeah, well, let's go see what we can do in the alfalfa. There goes Baldo. And there goes Luis.
Chequea tu video, David. Apenas iba a chequearlo, pero ahorita me habló el patrón que ya está listo acá la alfalfa. Chequea tu video para que lo acomodes.
Baldo's telling him, hurry up.
A ver, está bien, bueno, ahorita lo chequeo.
A lot of radio chatter at night. It's kind of entertaining to sit and listen to them. Pretty funny. Something I want to do. I want to put a camera on one of the bales as they're coming out. Take you guys for a ride. That'd be kind of cool, but not yet. I don't want to lose my camera. I only have one. Oh, I love that sound. You guys can see it up there on top of the knotters. Right on top of the knotters are these little round reflectors. We call them the knotter flags. So every time it ties, the flags go up, and then they start working their way down as the next bale's being formed. Well, the flags are thing for the drivers to pay attention to tell them if they have a mistie. So when the knotters trip, you know, it beeps in the cab that it's tied, and then you look behind you, and if all your flags came up and they're all going down, everything's cool. But if one stays up and it's not coming down with the other, you got to mistie the knot slip. Or if one doesn't come up and stays down, you're probably hung up on your bill hook or your knife arm because it didn't clean the knot off. And if you don't stop, the twine, when it's stuck, it'll pull on the knife arm or the bill hook, and sometimes it can break it. And the knife arm, I think the last one I bought was like 340 bucks. So the flags are like the old school way. There is sensors on the baler that detect the twine moving through the tensioners. So when it doesn't detect movement after a while, it'll beep, 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 because it's telling you it's got a mistie. But the flags, you know, there's no substitute for an indicator that doesn't run off of electronics, put it that way. So this bale's getting ready to drop. This baler, both balers have a scale right on the end. The last, like, or in 2 feet of the scale, or the chute is the scale. So see it fold and then goes down, so the bale got measured. So I'm gonna get out and check some moisture, see what it looks like. So this is the meter I have. It's a Delmhorst. It's got the, I think it's an 18-inch probe. I don't know what it is, the long one. But what I like about it, it'll record up to 100 probes, and then you can go back and hit this check mark button, and it'll tell you I probed 17 times, my average was 11.9, and my highest was 17.5. So yeah, out of 17 probes, that's what the moisture was. So that's what I like about it. It'll give you average and then a high and how many times you probe. So that's pretty good. That 17 I got, I think, is probably, it was just a little spot. I noticed in the bale there was a little bit of green, but I think it's probably just like a little spot of regrowth. Sometimes if the hay gets like too tall, you know, or there's a strong spot in the field, it'll actually start to regrow before we're able to bale it. So once in a while you'll pick that up a little bit, but other than that, it's fine. These guys are cooking, they're chugging, they're doing good. All right, well, it's the morning after baling last night, what you guys just saw. So in the shop, this is getting a new wiring harness put on it. Not by us, by the dealer there. The guy has already come out and taken the harness off, and he's going to the dealer, to the store, to pick up the new one and get it put on. So it had a, I don't know, kind of over my head, but a ground issue in the harness where a bunch of them are spliced together, and I guess it's a known problem, and it was causing communication issues with the drive motors, and they would actually lock up. So anyway, we got it back to the shop at least for him, and he's gonna get that hopefully going today. But anyway, I was doing the brakes on my truck. My truck started growling at me yesterday, so this side pads were wore out, and I didn't catch it in time, so it ate into the rotor. So I put 2 new front rotors and new set of brake pads on the front, which I got 70,000 miles on this thing, and the pads are already out. My older Dodge that we still have, I think I went 170,000 before I had to do the brake pads. So I don't know, a little disappointing, but this truck weighs a little bit more. But anyway, I figured I'd take the time and give you guys a walk around to the truck. So let's check it out. All right, so let's check this thing out. It's a 2018 Ram 3500 cabin chassis. So it came with no bed on it. The bed was built by Douglas Truck Bodies there in Bakersfield, and those guys build really nice beds. I mean, if you can think of it, if you can dream it, they can build it. I liked it because the cabin chassis, it had a heavier weight rating, or heavier weight capacity, whatever you want to call it. It's also got 2 fuel tanks. Don't have a spare tire, but it's nice having 73 gallons of diesel with me. Got a pretty big range to drive. The def tank's bigger too. It's 10 gallons. I think regular trucks are 5 gallons, something like that. So the def, I mean, I've never even come close to running out. It's one of those things I just keep it full. Yeah, I got it at the beginning of 2019. It's been a good truck. This bed, I had seen other guys with similar beds and liked the fact that, you know, you kind of had a utility bed, but you kind of have a flat bed too for storage. And for me, it's nice too for when I tow my 5th wheel travel trailer. I got enough clearance. It gets a little tight right here if I'm making turns, but as long as I mind my manners and careful, I can do it. So, but anyway, yeah, so the front box is probably the box I work out of all the time. Got 5 drawers, and up on top I just keep all my sockets. It's kind of a mess right now, but hey, it's a work truck. If it's clean, you're not using it, right? So I got sockets. I got metric and standard 1/2-inch drive, short and deep. Metric and standard 3/8 drive, short and deep. I got impacts in there. My ratchets and stuff are buried in their extensions, but you'll notice I'm a Milwaukee guy. I got Milwaukee 3/8 drive ratchet, Milwaukee 3/8 impact gun. This is my gun I use all the time, man. I love this thing. So yeah, this is a got a socket I didn't put away. That's good, huh? Oh, 10mm. Don't want to lose that. Gotta have that. In drawers, got standard and metric wrenches, Phillips and flatheads. My big wrenches, along with big crescent wrenches, a couple pry bars, water channel locks, Allen wrenches, punches and chisels, gasket scrapers, filter wrench, torques, chain breakers, all different pliers, needle nose, vice grips, long needle nose, wire cutters, and I got adapter sets, my 1/4 inch set, drill bits, impact driver that comes in handy once in a while, reversible drill bits, and easy outs. I got my bit set for my impact driver, my old 1/4 inch set that I still carry. Then at the bottom, got heavy stuff. I got 3/4 inch drive ratchet. Some of my bigger hammers. There's a chain wrench buried in there somewhere. Another punch set, impact sockets, deep well, and the short ones are buried down there at the bottom. Pipe wrenches. I'm still kind of reorganizing. I don't think a guy's work truck's ever the way he wants it. So then up in the top, I keep all the Milwaukee stuff. I got my big impact gun, die grinder, regular grinder, impact drivers in there somewhere, drill, and I got different blades and stuff, and then my 3/4 inch sockets are just thrown up there. And then these things are pretty cool, these little plastic battery holders. Got these off of Amazon. Use rivet nuts to mount them into the door, so that's pretty cool. This back box, this is the messy one that I'm not proud of. I haven't done anything. Now mind you, I'm working out of it, so it's kind of a mess, but I just got boxes of stuff. I got tap and die set, nuts and bolts, JIC hydraulic plugs, snap ring plier set, grease zerks, metric and standard. We got lock nuts and whiz nuts, set of O-rings in there. There's another set of O-rings. In the bed I have a small Mighty compressor, works for me. It's sitting on top of a 52 or 53 gallon L diesel tank that I built. I had a machine shop bend the pieces to the size that I wanted, then I just welded it together and mounted the compressor on top. I made a little cage over there for oil jugs. I think I got 5 gallons of hydraulic, 2.5 a motor, some antifreeze. Yeah, it's a mess, let me tell you. I need to clean it out, but I got this, and I put this up here, kind of a catch-all. I throw bars and hitches and stuff in there, and I got this little holder that I made for aerosols. I need to clean it out, I know. But up here I got some electrical stuff, test light, wire, battery tester, duct tape, assembly grease. That's a oil pressure sensor for a Murphy switch on an Omen sweeper. Multimeter, got fuses and connectors in there, and tape and silicone. And then here, this is nice to have, if I can get it open. Hold on. Uh-oh. This is my oxygen and acetylene torch set, which is really nice to have out in the field. A torch is one of those things like a welder would be nice to have, but a torch, you can always use it. And if you had to weld, you could weld with it. I've gas welded or brazed up a lot of things out in the field to get by. So yeah, I got the tanks there. They're the smaller ones, but they put a little drop well box in here to accommodate the tanks. AC gauges, little propane torch, fire extinguisher, bottle jacks, big hammer. All my rosebuds and cutting tips and stuff are in there. I got vacuum pump for doing air conditioners, and then my jumper cables are right here. So I had these made up. They're kind of like a welding lead type of thing. So they got the plugs here, and then the clamps on this side, and then in my bumper I have the ports, so that makes it kind of nice for jump start and stuff. You don't have to pop your hood. All these sides fold down, which is nice. This side is Baler and Swather parts, so I have all these different DeWalt boxes. I know I have DeWalt, I'm a Milwaukee guy, but I didn't know about Milwaukee pack out when I bought this stuff, so it works for the time being. But big Baler parts, Swather parts, and then just miscellaneous, you know, chain links and T-stock. I think this is a knife arm. I got some fuel hose in here. Oh, somebody pulled up to the shop. Hold on.